In this video, I'm taking a look at the Scout Trooper with the speeder bike Star Wars Mission Fleet figure. Let's jump right into it. Hey everyone, my name is Christopher. Welcome to Seriously Star Wars. On this channel, I do weekly Star Wars reviews, so if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Alright, so today I'm checking out the Star Wars Mission Fleet Scout Trooper with the speeder bike action figure. Picked this up last month in October. I think it was closer to the end of October that I picked this guy up. Got it at Walmart. I think this one goes for about just over 20 bucks, 21 bucks or so, I think it is. So a little more pricey than the Mission Fleet figures with the smaller vehicles, such as the Battle Droid that I just reviewed the other day, and the Darth Maul and the Boba Fett that I've reviewed. I will leave a link to the playlist in the description below, and I'll put a card up here for you guys to check out those reviews later. But let's get back to this guy here. So this is my first of this size. This is my first of this Mission Fleet figure with this size of vehicle. So they got 4 different size vehicles that each of these figures come with. So you got the small ones like the Battle Droid, like I mentioned. This is like the next size up. The next size up would be the Jedi Starfighter, the TIE Fighter, Kylo Ren with his TIE silencer, and then the next size up from that would be the Millennium Falcon, and I believe the Razor Crest is also in that larger size. So really happy to have this one. This one looks really cool. This is the one that is from the Mandalorian Season 1. So it does say Mandalorian, Star Wars The Mandalorian on the left side of the box there, on the left spine. On the front of the box, pretty typical packaging. You got that really nice artwork all on the front. Really like that artwork. You know, you got the Scout Trooper on his speeder bike in action with another Scout Trooper in the background there. You got the Hasbro and Disney logos on the bottom right hand corner, Mission Fleet logo on the top right corner, and then you got the Star Wars logo on the top left corner there. The top of the box, you got a couple other figures that are in this wave. So you have the Mandalorian on the speeder bike with Grogu, and then you also have Quill with the Blurg. So that's also in this price range of Mission Fleet figures. Moving on to the right side of the box there. So you have basically just a picture of how the vehicle works. So you got all these vehicles, the larger vehicles, aside from the smaller vehicles like the Stap and the Darth Maul and stuff like that. They all come with like a missile that you can fire that attaches to the whatever vehicle you have. So the Starfighters come with it. The Millennium Falcon comes with one. I'm probably not going to display it with it, to be honest, but it's kind of neat that it comes with it for younger kids who are playing with these toys. You got the Star Wars logo again up there, Mission Fleet logo, Disney logo, and then on the back of the packaging you got just a pretty good layout of, you know, everything that comes in the packaging. So you got the speeder bike, you got the missile and the launcher, you got this kind of sidecar that attaches to it, you got the Scout Trooper itself, or himself, and then you got the blaster and the pouch that he wears, and then on the front you actually do get a little bubble so you can actually see the figure. So I think on some other ones you don't have the bubble, you don't see the figure, but this one you do. So maybe that's something they just started doing. On the back, I just got to mention, like, I like how they package these and they put an image, a 2-scale image of how big these are. So the figure is actually that size, the bike is actually that size, the speeder bike it's all the to scale on the back of the packaging. So I thought that's really a really nice touch on these Mission Fleet figures. But let's get this guy opened up. We'll take a closer look at him. We'll take a closer look at all the accessories. There we go. So here is everything that's in the packaging before I pull it out of the bubble. And then as you can see, everything to scale on the back of the packaging. So that bike, it is to scale as per the back of the packaging. So like I mentioned, that's a really nice touch. But let me get them out of the bubble here. And there we go, guys. There is the Scout Trooper out of the packaging. Like I said, he does come with the 2 accessories. He's comes with his little blaster here, so the blaster does come out of his hand. Pretty decent detail on the package, or on the rifle, the blaster, considering its scale, how small it is. The pouch, I'm just going to see if it comes off here. I believe, yeah, so the pouch does come off. And again, some pretty nice details on the pouch there. The strap, you can see all the kind of leather bits and bobs on the strap there. You can see the buckles on the pouch there. So this is, of course, that pouch that the Scout Trooper has over his shoulder, riding on that speeder bike in the Mandalorian. I think it's the last episode of the Mandalorian there, where he has Grogu in the pouch. So I'm just gonna pretend this is the Scout Trooper that is voiced by Jason Sudeikis, because he did voice one of the Scout Troopers. I believe it was actually the one with the pouch on his. That was wearing the pouch, so we'll pretend that this is Jason Sudeikis in here. Articulation wise, basic Mission Fleet articulation. You got the head that swivels all the way around, and you can move it up and down on this one. The arms have a shoulder joint, so you can move them outward. No joint in the elbow, but you can move them forward and back. There's a swivel in the wrist. Both wrists, both arms move the same. Legs, just move them back and forth. And that is it for articulation. Basic Mission Fleet articulation. Pretty nice detail on this one. I feel like the armor is, I don't know, I feel like he needs more armor on him. Like he's got quite a bit of black on the inside of his arm. I'm not too sure how much the armor should cover. I feel like it should cover more, but I don't see like any spots where it looks like it was painted black instead of white. But, and I know the Scout Troopers do have different armor than the Stormtroopers, so they are not all covered in white armor. So I feel like this is potentially pretty accurate. The helmet is really nice, and just like on my Funko Pop reviews with with Funkos that have helmets on, they did use a gloss black paint for the visor, and then everything else is a matte paint. So I like that they do that for the visors to make the visors look a little shiny. I really do appreciate that. Other than that, pretty simple figure. I mean, you got details in the pouch, his belt, his pouches on his armor there. On his pants, you got a couple little pouches there as well. I'm not sure if they should have been painted white or not. You know, they got little details, so pretty detailed for a figure of this scale, like I'm always mentioned in these Mission Fleet figure reviews. He looks pretty awesome. I'm going to put the pouch back on him, though, as I think I'm going to display him with that pouch on, riding the speeder bike. And we'll put that, I think we'll put that gun back in his hand, that blaster. So we'll put that in his hand there. So there we go. There's the Scout Trooper with the pouch on him and his blaster in the hand. I think he looks pretty fantastic. I'm pretty happy with this guy. Let's take a look at his speeder bike, though. So, speeder bike, it does kind of just sit on the desk. Does kind of just sit there. Does sit flat on the desk there. Looks pretty decent, just white for the speeder bike here. There is some gray weathering at the front of the speeder bike, which is a nice little detail there. Other than that, pretty simple. You got the kind of gunmetal gray for all the bits and bobs, the mechanical workings underneath the actual seat of the bike. And then for the rest of it, it's just white. You got the gray seat. And like I mentioned, that gray weathering on the front of the bike, I think that's a really nice touch. The foot pedals, they slide back and forth. I'm not sure what for. Maybe, I guess, depending on where this guy sits on here. We'll put him on there in a minute, but let's take a look at the other attachments. So you got this little side car thing that will attach to the speeder bike as well. So let's get that attached. So there's a slot on I guess it's the right side of the bike here. And that slot just kind of slides in there, just like so. Kind of just sits there like that. So it doesn't look too bad. I don't know if I'm going to display it like this. Maybe I will, just because it kind of, how it fits in there. It does fit in there pretty nicely. I haven't decided how I'm going to display it yet, but let's take a look at the little missile launcher that it comes with. So as I mentioned, all of the Mission Fleet figures, minus the ones that come with the smaller vehicles like the Darth Maul, the Boba Fett that comes with the jetpack, they don't come with these missile launchers, but this one does. And the missile just kind of locks in there. You got this little red button that you fire, and it fires. So not sure if I'm going to display it with this on it, but I will put it on to show you how it sits on there. So you got a few options. So it comes with this little peg on here, and you put it in any of these peg holes. So you got the one on the top of the speeder bike, one on the top of the sidecar, and you got one on each side of the speeder bike as well. So you got a lot of options for putting it on wherever you want. Like I said, I think it looks I think that looks a little ridiculous. It looks a little bit over the top. Like I said, I'm not too sure if I'm going to display it with this on it. Looks kind of over the top there. I guess you could put it on the side, and maybe it'll even it out. Even that kind of looks a little bit silly for me. But I don't know. I suppose if you had two of them, if you had a couple vehicles and you weren't using one, say like the Jedi Starfighters, I wouldn't put this missile launcher on it. Maybe I would put one on either side to make it look a little more even. That might not look too bad. But I think I'm just gonna display it with just the bike. So let's get the Scout Trooper on his bike here. Let's see how he looks. We'll turn his wrists there. Get his hand on the handlebar. One thing I do notice though on this figure, as well as the battle droid, there is no spot to put his blaster if you don't want him holding his blaster. So on the Boba Fett, you could put his gun. It could attach to his jetpack, the deluxe jetpack that he comes with. And on the Darth Maul, there's a spot to put his lightsaber on his little crab walker thing. But this guy doesn't seem to have a spot for the blaster to go if you want to pose him without the blaster, which I mean isn't a big deal, but there you go. That's how he looks with the speeder bike. I think it looks pretty awesome. Let's put that sidecar back on. Let's see how that looks. It kind of seems a little bit silly to have the sidecar and no one beside him, but I guess it doesn't look too bad like that. Definitely not going to pose it with that missile launcher. I think that looks kind of over the top. This doesn't look too bad. I guess I could get another Scout Trooper or something and put him on the side there as well. That would look pretty cool, but not too bad. Overall a really nice looking figure. I think it'll display nice like that, either with the sidecar or without. But overall, really nice figure. I like the scale. Like, it is a little bit small, but I like the detail and the articulation in these little guys, and I like the scale of the vehicles. Like, so this vehicle is a pretty decent scale. When you get into the Jedi Starfighter, the TIE Fighters and stuff like that, they're a pretty decent scale. So I do like the scale of the vehicles on these, but let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think of the Scout Trooper Star Wars Mission Fleet figure? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and then click over here to watch one of my other reviews. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.